Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Weight of It podcast. As always, it's me, Rose, your host, and I have the beautiful lady in pink over here. I have Ayisa.
Hi guys.
So Ayisa, do you want to introduce yourself,
Yes.
name, age, what you do?
Yes.
And then we'll get into the conversation.
Lovely. So my name is Ayisa. I'm 29 years old and I am a body contouring and wellness specialist. And in simple terms, that just means I really help women through non-invasive treatments to just restore confidence back in their bodies. I'm also a fitness girly. I love all things fitness and wellness. I'm a mum. But yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Love that. Love that. We've obviously discussed and spoken about things in the DM.
Yeah, we
so there's a
have.
few topics we're going to be discussing today.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm so grateful to have you here.
Me too. Thank
She's
you.
the sweetest girl. She literally prayed for me, guys,
Stop.
before. Like,
yeah. How can I not include that? I'm a woman
so
of God
sweet.
too. God above all.
so sweet. But yeah, so you said that what you do is you do the body contouring for women.
Mm-hmm.
But I know when we just spoke in the DMs, you mentioned how you wanted to talk about like your experience with health and fitness.
Mm-hmm.
And for anybody that is new here, the Weight of It podcast, what we aim to do here is to talk about the things that we cannot see. So the things that, we're not talking about lunges and jumping jacks and meal prepping, but the things that are actually like beneath all of that and the struggles with it and essentially the weight of it, because we know that the weight we carry isn't just physical. So I think when you messaged, it was like, oh, fantastic. Yeah, let's get her on the pod and have a conversation. So yeah, do you want to talk through the weight that you wanted to discuss today?
Yes. So for me, like Rose has said, I feel like with weight, a lot of things you see externally, but there's a lot of internal things that obviously come with it. And for me, being someone that has kind of always struggled with my weight from a very young age, actually, it's been something that has been a part of my journey. Right. So I was diagnosed with obesity at the age of 16, and for me, you can imagine being that young, trying to like make friends, discover yourself, find out about yourself, and then having a diagnosis such as obesity. I can't really say I was shocked, because physically I knew that I was big, but actually being diagnosed and told, no, you are extremely overweight and classified as obese at that age was just hard. It was tough. And more than anything, I think my mental health just went from bad to worse. And I think the reason for that is because I didn't really know what was going on. I didn't really know how to really deal with such a diagnosis, but also really change anything. Like at that age, I think I was still young and still fresh on really knowing what helps with weight loss, or I was still young at the end of the day. And unfortunately there's a lot of young girls that are probably in the same position where they're so young and don't really know what's going on.
And you've got like puberty and things like that.
Yes, exactly.
So
it's like
navigating all of this stuff, and then here comes this label, and it's a label that has such connotations attached to it. So 100%. It's like, how do you continue to grow with that label as well?
Of course. And I just feel like you said, it's like another added thing on. Like you're going through life trying to discover yourself, make friends, puberty, and then it's like another thing, and it's like, oh, you're just being attacked from all angles. So that's kind of a bit about like, the younger ages. And unfortunately I didn't obviously lose the weight overnight. Well, I say unfortunately, but it's not unfortunate, because I feel like when you go through a journey to lose weight, you learn a lot about yourself, which is what happened with me. Like I learned a lot about myself. It was a big struggle. So started out with like just taking little jogs, but I didn't realize at that time that for me the main thing wasn't necessarily movement, it was food. And that's like with a lot of things, we think that we can out-train the bad diet, but at that time I just really had a bad relationship with food, like a really, really bad relationship with food. I didn't really understand that food is supposed to serve a purpose at the end of the day. It's supposed to be nutrients to our bodies, help us function properly, like, fill us up, but in the right way. I don't think I really understood that. Of course, exactly. I'm too young to really understand that.
And even the idea, like, obviously I can imagine at that age, maybe the GP telling you you need to do that. But like now, as somebody that's 31, I can't even imagine looking at a 16-year-old who is quote unquote obese or overweight and thinking, oh, they need to go on a diet. Like they're literally a child.
At their age.
There's something about that. I don't know, 16 is that age where like, consent, and there's all these things that like, oh, you're allowed when you're 16 and da-da-da. But I just think looking at someone in year 11, because when you're 16, right? Year 10, year 11. and thinking they need to go and do this, that, and whatever so that they can be deemed healthier. I mean, I understand scientifically why that might be the route a GP would go down, but I don't know. It's like you're a child.
Yeah, you're still quite young.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, like, it's hard because you're young, but you don't want to also take certain things into adulthood, if that makes sense. So even though it was harsh, I do feel like it was a reality check for me, if that makes sense. Because I just felt like, okay, I'm still young, but I am going into adulthood and I do want to learn and understand better ways to maintain myself, maintain my weight, like just be healthier. Because at the end of the day, it's all about your health at the end of the day. Even though it's like a physical thing, when we speak about weight and, you know, the impact that it has on your mental, your physical, is for health and well-being. More than anything. Do you know what I mean? It's not even about my physical appearance. I don't want to die. I don't want to fall down and drop that. Do you know what I mean?
But then, can I ask a question? At that age, were you able to distinguish the difference between this is for my health and just for like longevity and like living a healthy life versus like this is for my physical appearance?
Not right away. I think before I actually got to terms with the fact that this is for my health, I just thought, oh well, this is so I look better, so that people don't look at me and think I'm fat, or people don't look at me and say I'm obese. Like, I don't think I actually realized, no, this is actually for your health and well-being. This is so that you can, by God's grace, live a long life. Like, this is for the different purposes that come outside of physical appearance, you know? So yeah, I would say that I didn't quite understand that at first. And it had a lot to do with maybe how I was like perceiving things. My mental state of mind just wasn't right at all. Like, I had very low self-esteem. So yeah, it was just a bit tough.
And before the diagnosis came, what if you don't mind me asking, what was your childhood like when it comes to relationship with food? Like, we've already spoken, we're both from like African households, and food is just is a staple. You look weird if you don't eat.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So like, what, you know, how did that play into, I guess, the build up to you being overweight?
So with that, I'm really glad you asked that question, because I think it does, and I love my mum to bits. Like, I wouldn't put blame on, she fed me too much rice, because like Rose said, like, when you come from an African background, they say, oh, she's well looked after because she's eating, she's well. You know, she's looking well. Strong. Exactly. So I wouldn't even put any blame on her, but like, for me, it was just, I would eat when I was hungry. And I feel like as a child, because I have a daughter now, so when my child, like, obviously I know to do things a bit differently now, but if your child is telling you she's hungry, you kind of see it as bad not to feed her. Like, if my child is hungry, I'm like, okay, I'm going to give her food. The difference with me is that I'd always be hungry. I don't know why I was always hungry, like, always hungry. So like, my relationship around food when I was young wasn't great, but that's because I just didn't understand that I don't always need to be eating, if that makes sense. And I also feel like when I was young, I had different ways that I would express my emotions. Unfortunately, sometimes I would let emotions pile up, or I would express anger in different ways. And I realized very, very quickly that I would eat when I was feeling sad. I'd probably eat even when I'm feeling happy. Like, I was such an emotional eater. Even now, I still kind of carry that trait. It's gotten a lot better, but I still carry that trait of eating in an emotional state. So I realized quite early on that I attach foods to feelings, rather than, like I said before, eating because it's supposed to be, you know, nutrients and help me with, do you know what I mean? Like clarity and stuff like that. I attach food with, well, I'm feeling like this, let me have this, I'm feeling like that. So that came from childhood. From very young, I've been that way inclined. Right.
And you've hit the nail on the head. And I think this is the issue. I think when you get to a point when you're adulthood, when you start to realize you're emotionally eating, it stems from childhood. It can be, you know, if I think about, there's emotional eating, and I think there's also like elements of like passive eating. So like, I could be watching something and my brain just feels like, well, I'm not watching it properly because I'm not eating. Like, literally, do you know what I mean? Like, I have such a habit, like, I could, even now as an adult, like, if I'm having dinner, it's like, what show am I watching?
What am I watching?
And it's like, why do I need to be stimulated whilst eating? And then you start to realise, you know, why mindfulness eating is such an important thing. Like, when you're actually chewing, just to sit there and actually chew your food. But you're too busy, ha ha, he, ha ha, oh my God, scandal.
Literally.
And I think you know, I remember being as a child, like just being entertained and wanting to have my cereal and making sure like I'm watching Cartoon Network or Nickelodeon. And these are things that you just always having it's always something.
Yeah.
There's emotion all the time
attached to it.
And like you said, before you know it, you don't even identify that food is something to have when you are hungry.
Yes.
Because you don't even necessarily know what hungry feels like
anymore. Literally you're bored, you're eating, like you haven't attached it to what it should be attached to, which is hunger. Like, am I actually feeling hungry in this moment, or am I just bored? You're just eating?
And growing up, were you someone who ate, because just for the listeners, Ayisa said that she's from Senegal and Sierra Leone. Did you grow up eating a lot of your cultural foods as well?
I did, to be fair. And you know, a lot of people now will say like, oh, you know, our cultural foods are not actually that unhealthy. It's just that sometimes they put too much oils, which they're not. It's not completely wrong, like especially if we're cooking with a lot of spinach and greens and stuff like that. But let's be real, the things that we associate with those things, like the heavy palm oil and stuff like that, or the mountain of rice, is not actually that heavy healthy. On the mountain. But I've been eating my cultural food from young, to be fair. But if I'm completely honest, I don't know if that's the thing that was making me big. I was a heavy, like, for example, one thing I really used to love eating when I was young was rice pudding. Now, you guys might be thinking,
hey,
like, twins.
That was literally
me and rice pudding.
Oh, 5 and 6.
What? And
you know, you put chocolate. If I put chocolate drops in that rice pudding, a little piece of jam,
jam in my rice pudding. Like, I would eat that to the point where I went to Sierra Leone on holiday with like family and stuff like that. I think it was the first time I was meeting my grandma and stuff, and my mum shipped rice pudding to Sierra Leone just so that I can to meet me right there, just to make sure that when I was there I still had what. So it's just little stuff like that. And like obviously when I'm young I'm thinking, oh, it's just rice pudding, but eating it in the quantity in which I was is definitely unhealthy. Do you know what I mean? Or like, I used to like rich tea biscuits, so I'll be like, oh, let me dunk it in my tea. Instead of having 2 biscuits, I'm eating half of the packet. Like, so I'm just like, just no self-control. And with anything in life, self-control is necessary. Like balancing things. Like, no one's saying don't have the treats. And even when I speak to my clients now, I'm saying no one's saying to you completely cut out all sugar. No, I don't really advocate for that. Like, there's seasons where you might be like, okay, I'm gonna cut out sugar for a little bit. But in general, just have balance. Let's learn balance, and that will help with a lot of things. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think it comes with also being honest with yourself. Like, I've gone through seasons where I've cut out sugar, where I haven't, so on and so forth. But then, you know, you also have to be honest. Like, sometimes there are certain things that are just, maybe it's an addiction that you actually just have to cut.
You have to know yourself.
You have to know yourself.
Yes, 100%.
Because I always feel like, oh, maybe I can just like cut it out for a little bit, but then when I go back to it, it's as if I never cut it out in the first place.
And it's like times 10. Yep. You have to know yourself.
You have to know yourself. You have to know yourself in this life. But yeah, for me, it was rice pudding as well. I think for me, I actually didn't eat. My mum made a lot of Kenyan food growing up. I was just such a picky eater. So if it wasn't crisps, if it wasn't apple juice, if it wasn't chocolate, I wasn't trying to hear it. I wasn't trying to hear it. So, but I had a fast metabolism until my hormones kicked in.
Really?
Until puberty, Okay. So I'd say literally around maybe 15, 16 to around like 18 is when I put on a lot of weight.
Okay.
Because I stopped doing sports. I stopped being like as active as I used to be. But just like you, rice pudding, like just any pudding, anything that came in a packet.
Literally anything that was processed in a packet.
That literally. Is but I do agree. I think there is so much marketing towards children as well. When it comes to that. So I think, and it's not like I said, I'm not knocking my parents for it either. But I think I wasn't gonna eat if it wasn't that as well. So talk me through now. Like, you're 16. You've had this diagnosis, and like you're now wanting to change. Your, like, I guess what the diagnosis says, you want to be healthy, I'm assuming. Like, what did that process look like, especially because you're in school and like I just remember 16 just being one of those years. Like,
it was crazy. So for me, when I got given the diagnosis, I was also put on a plan. So I was put on some sort of a meal plan. Did we follow it to a T? I don't really think so, but like, my mum just became more mindful of what we were having at home and stuff like that, and like more so the quantity, because I don't ever, like, even now my mum still cooks other foods outside of like African foods, if that makes sense. So I got put on a plan in terms of food, but I also got given access to like recreation centers
Oh,
where I
nice.
could do swimming,
Oh,
use the
wow.
gym.
Okay.
One thing I really loved, I remember, was in the gym that I had access to, there was like this boxing pad, and I loved it because it would light up and tell you like where to box. And I remember I tried it because like other things were in use, and I was like really shy and timid in the gym, so I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna go on the treadmill right now, there's too many people there. So I'm like, let me go off into this corner, found the boxing pad and loved it. So literally it would light up and you'd like box it and stuff like that. You can use your foot, use your arms. So around that time the journey just looked like create and change, and I realized that I was at that point where I couldn't really lie to myself about where I was at anymore. I needed to be real with what was going on with myself, what was going on with my body. So the change did come pretty quickly, if I'm completely honest. Like, I'm someone that after I process things, I just like to get onto it, because if not, I'm just gonna dwell. Do you know what I mean? And I can be a dweller too. So when certain things hit, I just have to move on with it. So yeah, I just tried with, you know, the food, moving my body a lot more. I also became a cadet around that time. I remember, I went into the army cadet. People had come into my school to like speak about cadets and stuff like that, and I went into it thinking, oh, it'll just be an extracurricular activity that I do. But that really helped me, because cadet is really physical. You're doing marching, you're going on all these little things, and that really helped as well, because it just meant that I was like moving my body more. When we're going on camp and we're running and we're doing all of this stuff, it just made it feel a bit better
and purposeful. As well,
exactly.
Like, you're not just running for running's sake.
Yeah,
you're
exactly.
doing something.
Exactly. And I think that's what a lot of people now, even in our adult age, fail to do. Like, even though, yes, like, I'm a gym goer, so I love going to the gym, but I joined a run club last year.
Nice. Which run club?
GB and Friends.
Oh, okay, yes.
Yeah, I love it. Shout out GB. Yeah. And I went to that run club as a way of finding community within my health and wellness journey. Like, sometimes it could just be a bit boring. Wake up, go to the gym, eat well. Like, sometimes I feel like you need a bit of razzle dazzle. Do you know what I mean? Like, just a little something. So at that age, cadets was that razzle dazzle for me. Do you know what I mean? And it just really helped. And before I knew it, one thing I will say is, when you are first starting out off on like a weight loss journey, some people may experience it, you tend to lose the first bit of weight pretty quickly. It kind of falls off, especially if you've gone from someone that doesn't really move a lot, you're not eating well, to go into eating well, moving more. The first couple of kilograms just kind of
just drop.
So when I started to see that, I was like, oh, okay. And it kind of motivates you to keep on going. Don't mind me, like, you will have some dips, but it motivates you to keep on going. So yeah, that's kind of how that went. And then
that's really good.
Before I know it, I was at one thing I didn't do at first was step on the scales. I just feel like I was too young to be like, they did tell me at the GP how big I was, but I didn't continue to step on the scale until I carried on going to the GP, and they're like, oh no, Ayisa, you're making like good progress with your weight, etc. So yeah, that's kind of what that time looked like for me. It was a lot mentally, but I'm so glad I kind of just did it, you know?
Yeah. And I think it's, first of all, shout out to your GP.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if this is the same government we have now.
Yeah, I don't, honestly, it's true. I don't know if people would get the same sort of support.
I don't know if they get the same support. If anyone's listening, please do let us know.
Yeah.
Do they still offer the same kind of support?
Yeah.
But I think it's so good that they actually put you on a meal plan and also gave you access to do these things, considering your age as well. So I think that is like, that's really encouraging to hear. And I love the fact that you found the fact that sports isn't something you can just do for doing sake. Like, it needs to be in a community setting with a purpose, with a mission, because I think that helps you stick to the course.
It's more intentional.
Like, I'm not surprised you said that you go to a run club. I always say that when it comes to like for example, I used to play netball, and I used to burn so much calories with netball, but I wasn't thinking about burning the calories. I love
having fun.
I want to win.
So
like, I'm gonna do what I need to do to win. It's just a bonus that I'm sweating, and like, this is like cardio, and
it's helping,
and it's helping. So now moving forward, so you've lost some of the weight, and now I guess you're going into like your 20s. And so how did you then come to the business that you're in now? Like, what kind of led you here? And if there were any gaps in between that you'd want to share?
Okay, so like I said, even though yes, I lost a lot of weight, unfortunately I've just been someone that's always fluctuated in weight. So even in my 20s, I had moments where I was like a bit more slim and slender, and then I had moments where I had put on a bit more weight and stuff like that. So we're still bouncing between weight, but there was a time where I was able to manage it quite well. I would say between the ages of like maybe when I was like, I would say anywhere from like maybe like 24 to about 25, I was able to like manage it. Maybe 24 to about 26 actually, I was able to manage it. And then fast forward to me having my daughter. So I had my daughter back in 2021. So I fell pregnant. Before I had my daughter, I was at that place where I was actually managing my weight quite well. And then had my daughter, and as you can imagine, you know, for some of you that have had babies or pregnant now even, you know that your weight can sometimes take a toll. Like it can increase quite rapidly. Mine was actually okay in terms of within the pregnancy. It was after the pregnancy that it kind of shut up again. So went back to kind of just feeling a little bit uncomfortable in my skin. And I think the reason why it really took a toll on me this time is because, like I said, before I became pregnant, I finally thought I had cracked the code of like learning to maintain my weight. So I'm like, oh, I'm good now. I'm good. And then I had my baby and I'm like, surely I'll be good afterwards. Like just a few little... And then I'm like, oh my gosh, no, this is a whole nother ball game. Like hormones have completely changed. Body has completely changed. I'm older now. So like metabolism has slowed down massively. And I just realized, remembering, okay, I'm losing myself a little bit, as well as unfortunately going through a little bit of like postpartum, I say a little bit, a lot of postpartum depression. And I'm like, you know what? I want to get back. I want to get back and I want to feel better about myself because I know that I can. I've done it before. There's no reason why I can't do it again. So I set up on a journey to kind of just get back to myself, taking it one day at a time, eating better, going to the gym. But for me, when I was doing it this time around, I don't know if I think it's because I had the baby, but I just felt like I just need a bit more. Like things were still just feeling a bit stagnant, if that makes sense. So that is when I stumbled across body contouring. And I remember I had a holiday coming up and I was like, you know what? I want a bit more of an extra push, but I didn't want anything that was invasive. I wanted something that was non-invasive. So decided to go and get a session of like wood therapy and stuff. And I was like, wow, like obviously the way it was advertised was like, oh, we're going to snatch your waist. And obviously I did feel like that. But then before I went into the treatment, I wanted to know what it was about and I saw all of these benefits. And then when I came out and I was seeing like just water weight fall off and feeling like really good and just fresh again, I was thinking, let me do more research. And then that is when I actually realized, no, this is actually such an amazing benefit that a lot of people don't know about. And I think the reason why a lot of people don't know about it is because a lot of people are only aware of it being advertised from the perspective of aesthetics, like and not that there's anything wrong with aesthetics, I don't have anything against it at all, but more so as this thing that like, you know, is like a quick fix or whatever it is. I stumbled across my business and wanting to provide that value to women because I understand the benefit of this from a health and wellness perspective. Like when it comes down to with therapy, cavitation, all of these things, they have such great benefits on your health and well-being, like being able to be flushed out from the inside in. Like there's some people that are struggling with weight loss, not because they're unable to lose weight, but maybe they just have a bit of clogged toxins within them. Like they need to be flushed out a little bit, you know, their lymph nodes just need a bit of flushing, and then that, you know, the toxins and whatever it is will be released from their body. So yeah, when I had gone on the journey to kind of just rediscover myself again is when I stumbled across body contouring, and I was like, you know what, I hear a lot about it in America, some people speak about it here, but I just want to spread more, you know. And I am passionate about other mums, other women. As you can imagine, being someone that has always struggled with her weight, I know what it feels like to feel down bad about yourself, like to not have high confidence because you feel like your body looks like this, even though we shouldn't really attach our confidence to the way we look. We're human at the end of the day, you know what I mean? So I would say that's how I birthed my business, and just been trying to push forward ever since.
Wow, no, this is really informative. So you said something that's really interesting. So some people might be struggling to lose weight just because they're backed up with toxins. Yes. Could you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, of course. So what I mean by that is, we have lymph nodes. You have lymph nodes behind your ears. You have lymph nodes in your groin. You have lymph nodes around your body. And lymph nodes are that point of, how do I explain it? Lymph nodes are an access point, should I say. So whilst we're eating, you know, like your gut, sometimes they say like, oh, it's not that, you know, I just always look bloated and like my stomach is, you know, never going to be able to be flat. And it's not that is the truth. It just may be that they have certain issues associated to their gut. So when I'm speaking about your lymph nodes, all of that comes as one. When it comes to flushing out toxins through your lymph nodes, it's about getting out all the groggy things. Like, some people will come for treatment and they will realize the next day that they have pooped like food like never before. Why? Because they've just had some grog clogged up. Does that make sense? Like, I feel like people are not aware that when we're eating and we're eating these different things, sometimes these things are not, what's the word I'm looking for? They're not, like, everyone has different tolerances, if that makes sense. Yeah. So some of these things that we're eating are not agreeing with our body, and we need ways of flushing them out. But if they're stuck within you, then it's going to make weight loss a little bit harder, if that makes sense. So when I say, like, you know, we have toxins within us, our lymph nodes need to release those. They need to be released through our lymph nodes in order for us to be able to feel a bit lighter. Right. Or, you know, some people really struggle to use the toilet sometimes. Right. Just by flushing out certain toxins and certain waste through your lymph nodes, you're able to use the toilet again. Okay. You're able to feel like you're not as bloated because you actually have a release point. Right. You know, think about, you know, continuously filling something up but not releasing it. Okay. Doesn't make any sense. You need to have a release again. By
pressing onto the body, because I have seen like videos of wood therapy on your page. So by pressing onto your body, does that help with the release, in the sense of by the time you go home and drink water or something, does it all come out?
Yeah, so it's all in the techniques. So it's all within the techniques that you do, understanding the body, understanding the lymph nodes, understanding the flush out points. And just like anything, so with the gym, you wouldn't expect to go to the gym for a day and expect everything to be okay again. It's kind of a journey. Right. Exactly the same with non-invasive treatment. We kind of have to continue revisiting that area in order for you to actually see the results that you want to see. Okay. So it's a process that happens over time, and each time that we're revisiting that area, we're breaking down fat, we're releasing toxins, and then we're flushing it out through the lymph nodes.
Okay. And I'm assuming, as with most treatments or anything to do with health and fitness, it works best with like a healthy diet,
100%,
and exercise, T's and C's,
100%. And when, like I stated when I was speaking earlier on, non-invasive treatments normally are advertised from like a perspective of aesthetics, etc. And the reason why it's so important for me to just be open and honest with my clients and just my brand in general is because I am a fitness girly number one. Do you know what I mean? Right. So for me, when I stumbled across it, I didn't use it to replace anything. Right. I used it in combination with. Right. Do you know what I mean? Right. So even if you're not a gym goer, it's very important to understand that whilst you're having treatments done, you also need to be moving your body. You also need to have a balanced diet. I always say, I'm not a magician. And I'm also not here to steal anyone's money. So you need to do your part. Do you know what I mean? It's like you need to work in unison so that this thing actually works, if that makes sense. Absolutely. So I would definitely say when it comes to non-invasive treatments, it's so important that you're also doing your aftercare to make sure that what you want out of it, you're actually getting out of it. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Because I think when I remember I was speaking to you earlier, when I had my platform Running Froze, alongside being vegan and running, I used to sell waist trainers. Because that was like the smallest my waist has literally ever been. So obviously naturally when something's working for me, you put people on. But I also remember there's a lot of the naysayers who are kind of like, this doesn't work, they just want money, and it's like, I completely understand how this may look, but it's also my reality. But I was also vegan and running, so T's and C's apply. Like, I can't there's a combination. I couldn't vouch that if you just sit at home with this all day that anything is going to happen. But I know that if, from what my experience, if you're actually, you know, improving your lifestyle, you're moving your body, and you're wearing this for a couple hours in the day, you'll see something. You'll see something move. But I also know, like you said, a lot of these things, there is like a connotation attached to it. And I actually do think it's because some of the people that promote it the most are people that have gone under the knife. So I think it's hard for people to see that same thing marketed by people who are like, no, like, trust me, it's going to help flush out this, it's gonna, because people just think, oh well, I saw so and so get that after they got their second round of lipo. So I think there is the PR for this stuff is not great. Remember with my waist trainers, I remember like, I used to sell it in a fitness way, I would argue, but then I also know people would be wearing it post surgery. So it's like, I'm not trying to look like that's my marketing, my back brand. But then I'm also conscious people are using the same thing that I'm selling for different purposes.
And that's the thing with anything, like things can be used for different purposes. So you've kind of got to get your audience to understand your purpose and why you are doing this. in order for them to kind of understand where you're at with it, rather than what it's normally marketed as, because that is what we normally see it marketed as. And it's the same with non-invasive treatment. Like you said, you normally see people, because a lot of people that have gone under the knife or had any surgery done are supposed to go in for like their post-op massages and stuff like that. I currently do not offer that, not because I have anything against it, but just because I have a brand from a different standpoint, and that is the only reason why. Do you know what I mean? It literally just depends. But also, I think there's just not a lot of knowledge around non-invasive treatment. So a lot of non-invasive treatment, especially with therapy, is also really good for muscle tension. So let's say you're in the gym and you're a weightlifter and you're trying to hit new PBs and you're continuously lifting. Having wood therapy done on your legs can be so good to release muscle tension, like amazing, because you have certain tools that are really getting in past the skin and getting through to the muscle to help you release that tension. So your muscles will be swollen and inflamed, and wood therapy can really help just reduce that inflammation and really help with that tension that you're experiencing around your muscles. But not a lot of people know that, because they're just like, oh yeah, this is for aesthetic purposes. Do you know what I mean? My desire is really to bring more awareness to it. But like you said, I do understand that because it has normally been marketed in a different way. Some people may be a bit skeptical, and that's okay. That's okay. You know?
No, but it's true, because like what you say about muscle tension, like that's something that I would sign up for, girl. Because,
the
tension,
especially running.
With
running,
like literally, I had to take a week off last week because like the tension in my legs was so bad. I had to go tonight for like an analysis on my foot, because I was like,
it's getting much.
It's very much. It's very much. As much as I love it, it's like, oh my god, am I an athlete? Like, why am I in pain? But but this is the thing. I feel like I know that people go for like it's, what do they call it? Is it gym massages, fitness massage?
Sports massages.
Massage. Yes, I know there's that. But like you said, there are also people go for massage, post-op massages. So like massage. Like, you know, different types. But I do think what you're sharing is really interesting, and I'm actually curious to get some of this muscle tension stuff.
No, definitely, I'm your girl.
But yeah, I think that's really informative, and I think, you know, for anybody listening that is interested in Ayisa's services, they will all be linked in the bio, in the description, and also like at the end they'll be on the screen. But I also just wanted to go back to a part that you spoke about, like when you had your daughter, because I think this is like, I haven't got any children, and I always feel like that's why I'm so intentional with trying to repair my relationship with food, because it's like I can keep thinking my body is this and talk to myself in such a negative way. As if like, okay, if I quote unquote get to the size I want to be, that's me forever. Because there's still another season to come, and me that wants many children, it's like I don't want that to be the thing that always takes me out my mental approach to how I see myself. So like, how did you navigate that, you know, through the postnatal depression and like accepting that, okay, my metabolism isn't as it used to be, I'm not quote unquote bouncing back, you know, as the girlies are. Like, how did you, especially because you said before you gave birth, you were like,
I was good.
You was like, body tea. So yeah, how do you accept that? Because, sorry, I just before even you answer, because I'll never forget watching an episode of the Kardashians, and Kylie was saying how growing up she was really insecure about her ears. And I think she said she actually had surgery on her ears or something like that.
I didn't know that.
And then she said when she gave birth to her daughter and she saw her daughter had the ears that she has, she was like, oh my gosh, she's so beautiful. Her ears are beautiful. Like, why would she think there's like anything wrong with this? Like, she would hate to know that in the future, like if her daughter wanted to get surgery. And I remember like that's always sat with me, because you always think like, whether it's your food pie, your love handles, your back, all this stuff are like this really big thing. But if you were to see that in your child, like, do you know what I mean? So yeah, I just wanted to know like, what's your perspective on all of that as a mother?
This is a phenomenal question, because I don't think I've actually ever spoken about this, but it is something that I like do think about quite a lot. When you obviously bring a child into this world, they become a reflection of you. So even with, you know, the depression that was associated with, you know, me giving birth and stuff like that, and the moments that I went through, I realized that for me there's now a bigger purpose, which was her. And I feel like even like what you just touched upon briefly there with like the whole ear situation, it's actually that deep, because it's like when you see your child in front of you, you're like, whoa, you want to teach them the right way, how to love themselves and how to, you know, despite some of their imperfections, still be confident and stuff like that. And as a society in general, we kind of always want to make these changes, and it's not that we shouldn't, because for example, if you want to lose weight, that is a good thing, you know. And if you want to do it for a healthy purpose, that is also a good thing. But I think when you have a child, there's just like a different purpose, you know, like someone is watching you now. So like for me afterwards, like wanting to be healthy and stuff like that was everything to do with me. And mainly because I wanted to be a good mum. I knew that if I felt better, started to look better, it would impact me in my motherhood journey. But also because I now have a little girl just watching me. You know what I mean? Like, even though she was young, it's like, I want to be able to be confident in this season because I have someone to teach how to also be confident. So I first have to be that reflection of confidence. Does that make sense? And I want to be able to, you know, just teach her a healthier way of life. And I'm also really glad that you touched upon this topic because, you know, when we were speaking about like how did our food look like around childhood and stuff like that, very quickly I realized that I also now have to be a little bit mindful of how I am raising my daughter when it comes to how she sees food, what she uses food for. Because even though, yes, we're young, and I don't believe on putting so much restraints on young kids and putting them under diet, like I just don't believe in that. But do I believe that you should be raising your child in a way that is edifying them so that they will go on and have good habits themselves? Absolutely. And I feel like it all starts with me. So I had to kind of really say like, okay, even though there's, you know, there was bits of the depression and you want to get back to feeling yourself and stuff like that, you also have a young girl to teach about these things from young
at the same time.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah. And I feel like there's different ways people learn. We don't always teach in a way where it's like, okay, do this, do that. By her simply watching me and how I eat, and okay, is mummy just eating because she's sad, or is mummy binging that? Like, she's gonna see all of that, especially because now my daughter's 5. Literally, she can see everything, and it's so funny because I see elements of like my young self in my young daughter. Because I'm not gonna lie, my daughter loves food. Like, anyone that knows my child loves food. But does she also see mummy like work out and eat better? And does she? My daughter will chew down a salad. Like, them leaves, I'm not gonna lie, I have never been one to struggle about like, you know, putting greens on your, my child's gonna eat them greens. She's gonna ask me for some cucumber. She's gonna, do you know what I mean? And all of that has been taught habits as well. So it's like, there's always that room for improvement, but having a balance, like I've said, is very important. So navigating it after having a child and navigating health and wellness and stuff like that was new to me again, because you kind of have to take a little bit more of a different approach. But more than anything, I would say my reason kind of changed. I was doing it for me, but I was also doing it for the young girl that was also looking at me and wanted her to be better as much as me being better. Do you know what I mean?
That is so beautiful and so intentional.
Yeah, definitely.
So intentional, because I think it's so easy to justify, especially postpartum. I can imagine just doing whatever you want and whatever you feel is necessary for yourself. But forgetting that somebody is watching you.
100%.
And how many of us learn things from our parents, not because they said it, but because we saw it.
It's such a big thing. It's so underrated. It's not always about what you say, but what you're doing is just as important because they're watching too. Defo.
Oh, I love that. I don't know her chewing down a salad.
And it's so scary because sometimes I'm like, girl, like, are you okay? And she'll be, mummy, and I'm like, yes. Are you gonna make that salad? Like,
I love that.
But that's the thing. Like, I feel like when it comes to certain things, you just have to find ways of like teaching your little ones, or just find ways of loving it. Like, it doesn't and it won't be a boring salad. Like, it'll be a good salad. It's just that I'm happy she loves her greens. Because I know the struggle with not liking your greens and just wanting, you know, your child to eat better or whatever it is. So yeah, 100%. she's good in that department. She loves other things, but she loves the salad.
I love that, because I think the first time I had like an asparagus, I must have been like 20. Like,
stop it.
I'm telling you, I hated greens.
Really?
Down bad. Like, and my mum used to make it to the point that, like, see that dining table there? I would be like there till like 10, 11 o'clock.
Because you wouldn't eat?
I wouldn't eat it.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I hated greens.
What are you like with it now?
Oh, now I can. I'm like your daughter.
Yeah,
I can hold a
chew down.
salad.
Yeah.
I can chew down a salad. I can chew down a salad, but I just hated green. And I think because I just was so snacky.
Yes.
That's something I still carry now. Like
Yes.
I'm a snacky person. I
Yeah,
can go
same.
like literally multiple days without eating a proper meal.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm snacky. So like salads for me and vegetables just so like
yeah.
like give
What
me
am I
something.
doing? Yeah.
You know. But now for the sake of health.
Yes.
I do eat it. I actually do like broccoli. I like vegetables to be fair. And I do like salads a lot. But yeah, that's what I'm hearing your daughter. I'm like, oh no, good, big up her because you couldn't pay me enough to have done that.
Yeah. And it's with a lot of kids. Like their parents are unfortunately struggling, and I feel like it's something that isn't easy to deal with because you want your child to be eating better, but if they're telling you they don't want it, what are you gonna do? Stuff a veg down their throat? No, it's hard. But I would just say, I just haven't struggled with that area. I've struggled with other things, but just not in that area. Not in that area. If that makes sense.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Do you home cook a lot of your meals for your daughter?
So funny enough, my household in general were not like big takeawayers, or if that's even a word, but like I do normally tend to cook most of my meals at home. Okay. I'm similar to you. Even when it came to like me gaining weight, it was mainly based on, that's what I'm talking about, like the rice puddings, the biscuits. I'm mainly like a snacker. But yeah, I do cook a lot of meals at home. I think it's important to, only because I feel like, one, is cost effective. Yeah. And two, when it comes down to like what I'm making, I feel like I just rather be more in control of it. I've got to that time now where I'm like, I can't be asked to be thinking like, oh, what's in this and what. Like if I'm just in a little bit more control of like what's going into my body, it just gives me a bit more peace of mind. Do you know what I mean? So I try. I have my days, don't get me wrong, but I try to cook most of my meals at home.
And it's beneficial for your daughter as well, and just your family in general. If like everyone knows what's in the meal.
Exactly. Like what's what we eating.
What we eat, everyone knows.
100%.
Wow. Right, so we've gone through your childhood, we've gone through leading up to having your child, post pregnancy, your daughter can chew down a salad. We love that. And what about Ayisa now? Like what does your fitness, health, wellness journey look like now? Because, you know, I think for anyone listening, you know the kind of things I talk about here. We cannot deny that some of the things that we're told when we're younger affects the way we navigate wellness as an adult. Like whether it's the labels and the diagnosis, whether it's our relationship with food, so on and so forth. And it's such a invisible fight to like overcome these things. But what does your wellness journey look like at the moment?
Yeah. Okay. So for me, my wellness journey at the moment looks like finally getting to a place where I'm doing everything that I said I would, if that makes sense. So even though, yes, I still feel like I want to lose a bit of weight and drop a couple of kilograms, I literally, it's been 2 weeks now, just came back from Barcelona. I did a high rocks competition, and if you had told me, literally,
I saw your TikTok when you were coming. I was like, oh my god, this is I didn't realize I followed you on TikTok. And I was like, I'm literally, because I'm going to Barcelona in a few weeks. So I was like, amazing. Oh, fab. I need to ask her where to go.
No, honestly, I love Barcelona. It was my first time there, and it was chef's kiss. So yeah, I'll definitely let you know some recommendations. But yeah, I just did a competition, and for me, doing my first fitness competition was so reviving, because it's like I always have said that I will do one, just never gotten around to it, if that makes sense. And I must admit, I do thank God for, you know, having certain people in my life, such as my partner. He's like a big fitness person himself and stuff like that, so we're able to encourage each other in that way. But Ayisa now, like I said, just looks like someone that is doing everything she said she would, whether it has highs and lows, because even the people that we see on Instagram with shredded abs and blah, 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 they all still dip sometimes too. They still fluctuate between weight. They still have their days. So even if it looks still like there's bumps in the road, what I'm really proud of myself about in this season is I'm sticking at it, and I'm still pushing forward. Do you know what I mean? So for me right now, it just looks like being happy, but also doing everything that I said I would. So trying new things such as high rocks, you know, get into a place where I feel like, you know what, I'm doing this for the long run. I finally stopped like bouncing between that place where it's like, oh, I'll do this for a bit, and then I'll do this for a bit. Like I understand that this is a part of me now. So even with your running, like high rocks takes a lot of running, and I found a new love for running. So even though I joined the run club last year, like I said, I did it for the purpose of like community and stuff like that. This year when I was training for my high rocks, I was like, no, I actually really like running. Like my 10K runs really healed me in some type of way. Like, I will just pick these routes and I will run, and I'm like, wow. Like, don't get me wrong, some runs I'm like, oh, I'm tired. But then some runs I'm like, just how clear I feel in my mind afterwards, or like where it takes me. I'm like, no, I actually have a bit of a passion for this. So like Ayisa now just looks like doing fun things, and still making sure her health and wellness and fitness is like at the center of all of that. But also, what I have tried to stop doing is, I have a very obsessive behavior pattern when it comes to certain things, such as fitness. Like, I obsess over it. I've tried to stop doing that now. Like, at the end of the day, if this is a journey that I'm on and I'm going to be on, I kind of have to just remember that it's a journey that is going to take some time, and there's going to be ups and downs, like I said. So yeah, Ayisa right now is literally just about having fun, doing the things I thought have always wanted to do but just never gotten round to, and just keeping health and wellness at the center of it all. Like, I genuinely am passionate about being better within myself from the inside out. Obviously the outward appearance is amazing, but also from the inside out. And I feel like I'm finally in that season where, even if it's taking a bit longer, I'm like exactly where I'm supposed to be, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's what I've been trying to do.
That is so beautiful and
Thank you.
Wholesome.
Thank you.
I really love that for you, sis, because I think that for any girl that's been on these kind of cycles and journeys, like, this is the point you want to get to, where you're just at peace, and like, you can still be striving for something, but you're just not doing it from a place of hating where you are right now.
100%.
And I think that is like the switch that just makes you be able to enjoy life as well.
100%.
So that is so beautiful to hear. And, I know you are a woman of faith as well.
Yeah.
So when it comes to like those moments where it is a bit harder or there are dips, like, what does that look like, from a Christian point of view as well?
Oh, very good question. Very good question. Sometimes it can be hard, if I'm completely honest, just because I feel like it's just one of those things where, when you're going back and forth in your mind about, like, weight and how you look and body positivity and stuff like that, it can feel like you're at war with yourself. So in my walk sometimes, especially when I'm like feeling like, oh, sometimes I'm far from God and stuff like that, when it comes to praying about these things and seeking him about these things, it has been hard. But one thing I will say is, I have tried to continue speaking to God as a friend and as a father, so that he understands that, look, God, I have all these desires and goals to be like this and feel like this and look like this, and I'm having these dips, but who do you want me to be in this season? And I feel like that's kind of the season that I'm in now as well, which is why maybe I'm having fun with the things I'm doing, because I'm just at that point where I'm like, God, who do you actually want me to be in this season? And another thing that I've realized is, with my health and wellness, but also with my life in general, I feel like I have been that person that's had such highs and lows, because there are many people that will be able to relate to the highs and lows. Like, no journey is linear and straightforward and perfect. And I feel like, as a believer, we have to remember that it's a lot bigger than us at the end of the day. Like, there's a lot of people that we're supposed to bring with us and help, if that makes sense. And how do you help someone without going through some lows yourself? Do you know what I mean? So it can still be tough, don't get me wrong, especially as a Christian girlie that's actually trying to seek God's face. I still make my mistakes in my journey, whether it be with fitness and wellness, whether it be with my personal life, whatever it is. I still have my ups and downs. I'm by no way, shape or form like where I want to be, but I have a trying spirit, and I think God sees that. Like, I'm trying in different avenues of my life. I'm genuinely trying, and most importantly, I want my business, I want my life, I want my health and wellness, I want everything that's associated to me to link back to Christ. Like, that is a true desire of mine. For me, I don't want any of the glory to ever be given to me, really, because I know what it's felt like to be in the trenches. And for me, whatever I'm doing, if people do admire it or can take anything from it, be influenced by it or encouraged by it, is because God has positioned me here. So it's really important for me to make that clear, but also continue to seek him along the way.
Amen. Wow. Girl, you bringing the roof off like with this one.
Thank you so
wow,
much.
No, that is so beautiful. And like, honestly, kudos to you, because I think it takes a lot to be able to keep pushing, to keep finding ways that are enjoyable for you, good for your health, good for your wellness, for your daughter, 100%. For your business. Like, wearing all those hats,
it's tough.
Honestly,
it's
well
so
done.
Tough.
Well done to you. Like, obviously I don't even know you like that, but just hearing it, I'm like, no, but because as somebody who doesn't even have half of these responsibilities,
Yeah.
I know how life
can get.
So yeah, well done to you.
Thank you
and
so
you're doing
much.
a really good job. And well, congratulations on doing your first high rocks
Thank
as
you,
well.
guys. Thank you.
Did you do singles or doubles?
So I did doubles. I did it with my partner. I was able to do it in 1 hour 15. So I'm super, which is a really good time, guys. A really good time.
Wow.
And honestly, girl, it's ignited a fire under
Is
me.
it?
I want to go and go again. You know, like how people get like obsessed with marathons. Like I said, I can sometimes have a bit of an obsessive way when it comes to doing things.
Yeah.
But I think for me, with high rocks, I realized it's just a big mental thing. So being able to mentally put yourself in that place where it's like, you have to keep on going, you have to keep on running, and you just have to train as best as you can. It's something that I fell in love with, and I know I want to keep on doing. So definitely going to do more. Like, I'm not sure in exactly what races I'll run again this year, but I want to try and get in at least one more.
Oh, I love that. Literally, High Rocks has been on my bucket list. So even hearing you say this, I'm like, oh, this is gassing me a little bit.
Do it, girl. And if you need help with training, I got you.
Okay, we'll talk offline.
Definitely.
No, but this has been such a great conversation.
No, honestly,
I've learned a lot.
So
like, truly, I've actually learned a lot. And I think there's a lot of things you've said that I'm definitely going to, like, even just reflect on as well.
100%.
And yeah, I'm sure the listeners would have enjoyed hearing your journey. But also, what I've taken from this is, like, also knowing that one season doesn't define your life, and
100%.
you know, from what you were told at 16 to where you are today at 29, you know, that didn't have to define where you are today. There's habits that you can take from that, there's things you can learn and unlearn, but like your life is still the book is still being written.
100%.
Do you know what I mean?
So I love that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's definitely my takeaway from today.
Definitely.
So thank you for sharing that with us,
and thank you for having me.
No, it's been great. Can you tell the people where to find you, your socials, for your business and like personal, if you don't mind?
Yes,
as well?
of course. So on TikTok and Instagram, my business handle is Contouring and Co, all as one word, and then personal is just _Ayisa with 3 A's, so that's AYIS 3 A's. But yeah, on Instagram and TikTok, exactly the same handle. I'm sure Rose will put it there somewhere. But yeah, please follow me. And if you would like treatments or even just to know more, I say to people, knowledge is power, especially when it comes to, you know, the whole non-invasive stuff. If you want to just simply know more, please feel free to reach out. I do free consultations.
Amazing.
And I'll be happy to just chat with you and tell you more. And if you'd like to book in, then we can also chat about that too. But yeah, thank you so much for having me. This was it was good for my mental health. So thank you so much. Thank you.
Love that so much. And guys, as you heard, she has got free consultations. So please do book them. Ask as many questions as you need
100%.
to. Like, as I said, it's your body, it's your wellness, it's your well-being. So just be curious, do your own research if you need to as well.
100%.
You can follow the Weight of It podcast across all socials. You can also follow on Substack. I have started writing the episodes as well.
Amazing.
Started writing my reflective pieces, so I've got some, you know,
amazing. I love that.
And also follow me at The Real Rose across socials as well. As always, this has been a very healthy, helpful conversation, and I hope for anybody listening, you've also realised that what you've gone through, what you're going through, you're not alone. I've gone through it, Ayisa's going through it,
100%.
and we're just continuing on this journey, and I just hope you feel seen.
Love that. Thank you so much.
Bye guys. Till next time. Bye.